Hi guys. So in this video, I'm going to share some weighted mobility exercises specifically for your shoulders. Adding weighted mobility into your training can be a really great way of building strength in the actual joints and connective tissue, but doing it like very, very progressively under a little bit of load and then increasing from there. The stronger our joints are, the more protected we are when we're in the air, the more we can respond to the unknowns in aerial training and not have to worry about ending up with an injury. This is a super simple follow along routine that you can implement straight away into your training that focuses on strength and mobility in the shoulder joints. And you'll see in the video, I'm only using a 2.5 kilogram weight. So I'm keeping the weight very light, but it creates enough load and enough resistance to challenge my joints. And if you're interested in building stronger shoulders in a way that will actually last, that will make you feel safer and like you have more control in the air, I'm going to be running a 4-week online class series called Shoulders of Steel, where we'll be focusing on building shoulder strength specifically for aerial. So the link to that is in the description. You can check it out below, and I hope you find this video helpful. We are going to work on some weighted mobility. So this is another nice way of progressively loading joints and muscles. In a stretch position, we can add a bit of weight. It creates some more resistance. It creates a bit more work for us because we have the weight to push against or pull against, however we're using it. And so we can really work on strengthening those end ranges of motion. What I will say is for all of these exercises, start with something light. This is 2.5 kilograms. For some of them, you could even go lighter. We don't need to push it with really, really heavy weight, but it will be a great way, like I said, to start progressively loading our joints and muscles. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a supine pullover. So I'm going to lie back on my bench. Make sure that my head is supported. And then from here, I'm going to bring my arms up overhead, elevating a little bit in the shoulders, trying to keep my core engaged until I feel a stretch. And then I'm going to push back over my head. So 2 hands together, a dumbbell or a very light kettlebell would be great for this. And we're just going to do 10 of these. And you might feel as you do more reps that things start to warm up or loosen up. And so you can go a little bit further if you've got the range of motion and it feels comfortable. So I think we've got 4 more of these. Making sure that this is nice and controlled. And then we're just going to stop there. So I was working on my shoulder flexion. We're going to work shoulder flexion a little bit more. We're now going to work one side of the body at a time. So go for a lighter weight if you need to for this. So one arm is just resting on my torso. The other arm is going to come over until I feel a stretch. Just going to hold here for 10 to 20 seconds. So I don't want to go to my absolute max end range where I feel like I can't control it. I want to hold a position where I feel like I'm in control of the weight. 5 more seconds. And then bringing it back up. So when I finish, I should be able to come out of the stretch with complete control. I shouldn't feel stuck in the position. So you can choose how far you let your arm go overhead and how heavy the weight is based off of that. So again, arm comes overhead, holding for 10 to 20 seconds. And then pushing back up. So I definitely felt like I had more strength and control with my right arm. So it's really useful to work both sides of the body as well as 2 arms together when we're working with weight, so that if one side is slightly more mobile or slightly stronger, we don't just do exercises where we're compensating with the stronger side. So Sitting back up on my bench, I'm gonna have my arm by my side, so I've just come to the edge of my bench here. I'm gonna hold the weight in my hand and I'm gonna externally rotate, trying to squeeze the shoulder blade on the right side, and then I'm going to internally rotate. And as I internally rotate, the shoulder can come forwards a bit, but I don't want to twist my body. So sometimes hand on your stomach can help. And we're gonna do 5 in each direction, external rotation, followed by internal rotation. So for this, you might feel like you can go a little bit heavier because it's not like a super crazy movement, but we're just trying to go as far as our range of motion will allow. And then we've got one more in each direction. Nice, and we'll swap to the other side. So I'm a really big fan of working on internal and external rotation. There are so many movements in aerial where we need to have strength in both positions of the shoulder. And particularly with things like skin the cat or back flag, it can be a lot of load on, you know, just your shoulders, chest, and upper body. It can be a lot of load on just your shoulders, chest, and arms. So working with a bit of weight, starting to really understand the way we're trying to move the shoulder, how the arm works with the shoulder in this as well. Like, it's a really nice way to start to build a bit more strength and control in this part, in this way of moving. Okay, and one more on this arm. And again, with all of these, you could absolutely go for 2 to 3 sets, but we're just going to go through everything once for this video. So the last exercise we're going to look at is something called a kettlebell halo. I'm going to stick with this 2.5 kilogram plate, but you can use a kettlebell for this exercise. And we're basically going to put our hands together, make a window, so bring one forearm on top of our head, and then we're going to bring the arms behind and swap until the other forearm is on top of our head, and then come back down. So this is the halo movement. So you can see with my hands, or like with the weight, if I'm holding something, I'm drawing a halo around my head. That's where the name comes from. As I do this, I want to make sure that I don't move with my spine. The movement should just be arms and shoulders. So everything's going to stay nice and still, except the arms, shoulders, and upper back is also going to be involved. So I'm simply going to hold my weight in front of me. I'm going to do this sitting, but you can do it standing. Make a window. Let the weight pull my arms a little behind me. Make a window on the other side, back to the front. So we're going to do 5 each direction. So we'll just work the same direction to begin with. Okay, we've got one more in this direction. And as the weight comes behind, if you feel like you can get a little bit further each time, you can let the weight and gravity kind of pull your arms back, but it should feel like you can control it the whole time. It shouldn't feel like when the weight is behind you, you need to let go of it. Two more in this direction. Nice, and we can finish there. So, like I said, you can do more sets than we've done. So like I said, you can do more than one set of these exercises if that feels helpful. This is obviously more work than if we are just mobilizing or stretching without any load. So always make sure that you are warmed up for this. Don't use this as the first part of your warm up. Do a little bit of joint mobility without any load, and then you can move on to adding some weight to create more resistance and create more work, and progressively load the joints, muscles, and connective tissues to get stronger in your end ranges of motion.